Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm one sober to another. I'm Wayne, and I'm an alcoholic. Today's daily reflection for 1 December 2020, suggested steps. Let's go. All right, so welcome back. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take the time now to do so and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a daily reflection or a journey with me in my sobriety and your sobriety. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, and here is the mask that I have available absolutely free to anyone who wants to do an interview with me or just simply share their story on One Sober to Another. Check it out. This is the mask, and it actually is pretty dope. It's COVID-19 approved and has my logo there, as well as I'm gonna open this one so that way you guys can see it. I'm excited because you actually, with the mask becoming part of our everyday routine and our daily wear and the way that we actually express ourselves in this day and age, it has One Sober to Another on it, as well as the logo, like I showed you before. It's pretty dope. It gets about 25 washes. It comes with instructions and COVID-19 approved. You can't beat that with a bat. So, the daily reflections today, suggested steps. This one I love. Our 12th step also says that as a result of practicing all the steps, we have each found something called a spiritual awakening. AA's manner of making ready to receive this gift lies in the practice of the 12 steps in our program. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 106 to 107. I remember my sponsor's answer when I told him that the steps were suggested. He replied, "They are suggested in the same way that if you were to jump out of an airplane with a parachute, it is suggested that you pull the ripcord to save your life." He pointed out that it was suggested I practice the 12 steps if I wanted to save my life. So I try to remember daily that I have a whole program of recovery based on all 12 of the suggested steps. Wow! Diving out of an airplane and not pulling your ripcord, you surely will die, right? Well, for me, the alcoholic, and an alcoholic like me if you are, or an addict, if you don't, let me rephrase that. If I don't practice my program and I don't work my program utilizing the 12 steps and 12 traditions that are built within them and proven to be beneficial to an alcoholic like me, then I may as well just put the barrel to my head and pull the trigger, because that's what it comes down to, folks. And if you don't believe in God, a spiritual awakening does not have to revolve around what people conceive to be God. A spiritual awakening is looking within yourself and simply acknowledging that there's something greater than yourself and that you have something that you can share to the world. Here on One Sober to Another, I try to do that daily. And I don't do that out of ego, and I don't do it out of haste, and I don't do it out of self-benefit. Self-gratification is the word I was looking for. I do it out of gratefulness for my sobriety and where I'm at in my life right now. And I want to help you out there do the same thing. Now, these videos aren't going to guide you completely in your path to sobriety, but they can be helpful with certain things that you come across in your daily life. Now, I also heard, from my sponsor that, jumping out of an airplane and not pulling the ripcord, you surely will die. That my sponsor said. And not Chris, it was another one. And it was my final sponsor, actually, George. And that resonated with me because he compared it simply to, if I don't want to work the program, I might as well not pull the ripcord. And how I started my program in the beginning was kind of risky, and it was going in a path that I kind of made myself. I can do this step this time, I can do this step next time, and not necessarily work the 12 steps in the way that they're designed to work, which is 1 through 12, because they have a gradual build to where they lead you, and they have a gradual build to how it helps you in your recovery. Step 1, I admitted that I was powerless over alcohol and that my life had become unmanageable. You can't really throw that at the end. Why not? Because hell, if you don't admit that you're powerless over alcohol or your drug, then you really can't do anything in order to start recovery. And if it's sober you're looking for, it's not going to happen if you can't admit that you are powerless over your substance. If alcohol is your demon, so to speak, and you don't acknowledge it, for me, I didn't acknowledge it, and it beat me. I told you about my last 2 relapses, folks, and that's some real serious guru, because, I almost didn't make it back. And so I had to buckle down, and I had to start my program from the beginning. This is not preaching, folks. You can do whatever you want, really. But for me, this 12th step, this December, this 12th month of the year, is something so crucial because it allows me the ability to share with you out there. Otherwise, I'd just be a talking mouth. And, we all know people who spit bullcrap all day, and it has no relevance, and they have no credibility, and that has no meaning. So, 12th step, having that spiritual awakening and carrying this message to the alcoholic who still suffers. That is my goal here, as I stated yesterday. And really, I just want to bring it to you folks and, just be able to share my experience, strength, and hope. And I know I say that a lot, and a lot of you are like, please stop saying that because you don't know what it means. Well, you know what? I'm living proof. I'm going on 5 years sober, and I just wanted to point out that somebody today is 20 minutes sober, and they just dumped out their entire stash. And as a matter of fact, if you see this video, you out there from Reddit, I recommend calling a doctor, because the amount that you showed in your photo, it's scary. And I've been there, so I know. If you may need medical attention, so if that is the case and you start to feel heart palpitations and you start to sweat a little uncontrollably, and you get anxious and you get over anxious and you start to get paranoid and you hear things, call a doctor, because you may need medical assistance. I'm sorry I keep looking over, but camera. Our 12th step also says that as a result of practicing all the steps, we have each found something called a spiritual awakening. Once again, I have to work my program 1 through 12 and repeat. It's kind of like doing laundry. You have to rinse, wash, and repeat. That's just the way it goes. Otherwise, you become stagnant and you get ponded, and I become complacent in my program, and I forget about things. Starts to kind of fade away. Other stuff starts to replace the things that I'm letting go. I'm an alcoholic, so my brain sometimes goes on a hamster wheel, and I start making excuses of I can have just one and everything will be groovy. No, for me, that one is all, and that all is my next drunk, and my next drunk is probably my next jail time or my next death. And for me, that is 100% true. So if you can relate to that, drop a like and a comment so someone else gets something, from the video and from your experience. Could be helpful. The program may not always be easy to practice, but I had to acknowledge, you know what? That's fitting. I looked to the other page, but that is fitting. The program may not be always easy. Of course it won't. I talked to a guy yesterday, and he drank for, you know, he was a drunk, just like me, for 30 years. And now he's going on, today should be his 331st day sober. And I say, hats off, brother, because every single day that you're sober, that's a success. And each 24-hour period without a drink and without having to depend on that drink is a success in my book. Everybody throw him a shout out, because that's freaking awesome. Anyway, so 30 years, right? And for me, it was 23, 24, like, ugh. Depends on the fog, you know, could it be hit or miss. That's a lot to try to say, whip, I'm sober, I'm good, because that's not the case, folks. It takes work. I worked for 23 years to be drunk. I have to keep putting in the work in order to remain sober. 5 years is not much in the comparison to 23 years, or 24, depending on the day. And I have to do the work. I have to grow, because seriously, I'm like 5 years old now, because from the time that I started drinking till the time that I shut it off, I lost all that maturity and growth. So now I had to start from that first sobriety day in order to start growing and to mature and to do adult things, because adult things suck, by the way. But I have to do adult things, and I have to give recognition where recognition is due. And I run on tangents, don't I? I know. But that's today's daily reflection, folks. And once again, if you dig this, mask, if you just want to do an interview with me, and this is not begging, folks, this is trying to get a little fresher faces to the channel that can give their experience, strength, and hope to you guys as well. But so you'll get this awesome thing, one size fits all, really dope. And you know, I got these stickers, but I don't think anybody wants a sticker, but if you do. And that's it for today. That's the thought to chew on. And guess what, folks? I'm gonna see you in the next one. Life's a garden, dig it. Bye-bye.